Hi, my name is Carly Ring, and welcome to Nunthing to Lose. This is our podcast where we open the doors to the extraordinary lives of the religious women who have come to find Alliance Health at Marie Esther their community. Our community is home to the representatives of 5 different orders of sisters, and they come from all different backgrounds. We are sharing one unique community that's bound by our desire for peace and friendship. Despite their varied journeys, our sisters share a common bond of faith, and this podcast will be exploring their inspiring stories one episode at a time. Today, I'd like to welcome Sister Margaret. Sister Margaret is a little sister of the Assumption, and she joins us as a cherished member of our community at Alliance Health at Marie Esther. As one of the contributors to the insightful book, Mutuality in El Barrio, Sister Margaret brings a unique perspective shaped by her extensive work with the Little Sisters of the Assumption. Sister Margaret, would you like to give us a little bit of background about your work with your order?
Thank you very much, Carly. Yes, I'd be very happy to. As Carly mentioned, I'm a member of the Little Sisters of the Assumption, an international community in 26 countries of the world. And wherever we are, we work with families who are poor and struggling to survive. And that is the delight of my work. And I have spent a number of years in my life before coming to Marie Esther and creating agencies that deal with homeless families in Worcester, in East Harlem, in Kentucky, in North Carolina, etc., creating programs that would really help families who are homeless find shelter, find a homeless residence, get access to education, care for their children, and kind of transform their lives. So that's been the major focus of my life for many years, so I could talk to you about our agency in all those different countries, which I had the opportunity to create.
Your work is absolutely inspiring. And It's so special to be able to be not only in your presence, but to be able to work with different members of your order and some of the sisters at Alliance Health at Marie Esther and see how the impact of your order has affected these different communities.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. And I wanted to tell you that I feel that Marie Esther is a very special place. When I first came there, I was very struck by the fact that there are 5 religious congregations, and most of them, like myself, had been in leadership in their religious congregations, in their various localities, etc. And so, for example, there's a lot of emphasis on the issue of justice. And one of the things that I did recently is engage them in a reflection on a group that I worked with internationally who are looking at the World Bank, who introduced the World Bank to the poverty that's present in many third world countries. And it was wonderful to be able to do that with my colleagues there at Marie Esther. And I think we opened the eyes of many people to understand this. And a friend of mine is the one that gave the presentation at the World Bank. And they then have decided that they are not going to do funding of different programs at the World Bank unless they engage people who experienced homelessness and who can help to see another side of it.
So they want to make sure that that's impactful.
That they want to make sure that it goes to the right source. So the woman who's a good friend of mine who teaches at UMass Boston, she brought that experience to the Marie Esther sisters, and I was really proud to do that.
Absolutely. That sounds like it was a really special moment, not only for you, but probably all the different orders at Marie Esther.
Yes, I think so. And when you look at all the different orders, like I was thinking one of the orders, all of their sisters are Haitians.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at what's happening in Haiti these days.
Mm-hmm.
And, some of the people have been killed and hurt, etc. And so we all join in prayer and in effort and in outreach and advocacy to try to create an environment of protectiveness for those sisters. So it's amazing to be with women who do a similar kind of work that I've had the opportunity and the joy to do over my life.
It's good to have those things in common, but I feel like the Little Sisters of the Assumption also have some unique things about their mission.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love you to share a little bit more about what makes them a little bit more unique compared to the other orders.
Okay. I'd be happy to. I actually created agencies in East Harlem, for example. I worked closely with other people in the Gloucester community around the whole issue of dealing with homelessness among families. So that has always been just a kind of component of the work that I have done, is created the kinds of programs that really make a difference. And I wanted to talk to you about 2 books that we just published that describes this work. And one is called The Mission in El Barrio, where we have an agency there, and we worked with women who were homeless. And it was during that time that people were saying that people who are homeless really are not, are problems and don't really work with creating opportunities for their children. And so this book about the mission in El Barrio really describes the work that young mothers have done to create opportunities for education for their kids and to help to transform their lives right here in New York City. And that's really been an exciting kind of development. So those kinds of things have happened. And then there's another thing that I'm going to be working on. There's another new book that's coming out from the Gloucester community. And in that community, I've been asked to speak to the whole issue of homeless families and how they survive in this environment today in terms of housing, access to education, access to so the kinds of supports that move them beyond homelessness. And so I've been part of writing a book that describes this, and it's going to be it's going to be presented at a book review on the 9th of June. So it's mostly our focus has been mostly, let's describe to people what it's like to be homeless and what could really make the difference. Like the major funder for our work in the Gloucester community has been Paul and Phyllis Fireman, the Fireman Foundation. And they were really provided the support and all for the education of these women. So what I need to speak at
Sorry to interrupt you, but do you know why they were such proponents of supporting this work?
They really care about the poor, for example. And Paul Fireman himself was a big funder and of programs in his own country and in his own area of expertise. And so was his mother. So one day they asked us to come and to meet with them and to tell them about homeless families and what would really make the difference. And when we did, they said, that's where we want to put our funding effort. So they provided a tremendous amount of financial support for us so that we could provide these women with an excellent education.
What does that mean? Are you funding it, or are you providing actual education?
What we do is we provide the funding because we develop the relationships with all kinds of academia and colleges, etc., to talk about the importance of doing this. And we have a reputation, particularly in Boston, with looking at social change and transformation in the lives of families. Mm-hmm. So people know us in that kind of way. So that's what really kind of makes a difference. And so not only did they provide the funding, but they get others to provide the funding for families who are homeless. And we have pretty much had a reputation of looking at solutions to poverty and what could make the difference. And education is a major solution to poverty. And we need to provide that opportunity for women who are struggling with homelessness. We need to provide other kinds of supports as well. We need to provide affordable housing. So we deal a lot with affordable housing. We need to provide access to quality childcare so that kids have the opportunity that, to not to be homeless themselves or to get a good education. So housing and education and support are the kinds of things that we work on, creating opportunity for families who are homeless. So we're pretty well known in Boston for the work that we do. And the new book that's coming out from the Gloucester community will describe this.
I think that the new book sounds like it ties back in perfectly with the overall theme of your other books, specifically Mutuality in El Barrio. Those stories of the Harlem families that your order went in to help. Do you remember any of the specifics about those that you could share, a little tidbit or something interesting about one of those stories?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, probably. But one of the things that I think of, one of the sisters who actually was born and brought up in the Worcester community, and then went to a Fordham University, not Fordham University, but went to Assumption College, and got, received education at that level as a nurse and all. She worked closely with us, and we became very close friends, and so she joined our order. And so I wish you could see the families and the kids from our community in Worcester. They loved her. She was like a major treasure in their lives. And she died last year very suddenly, and it was a tremendous kind of loss.
Mm-hmm. You could feel her impact.
And then they had a church ceremony, and the church ceremony in one of New York's largest churches was filled.
She obviously touched a lot of lives.
Oh, God, all kinds of people. But that's the kind of thing that we really see. If you can reach out and respond to the needs of people who are homeless and who are struggling, and you can love them and be with them and know how to support them, that makes all the difference in the world. And we are so fortunate to have those kinds of friendships.
Now, Margaret, what are some of the major challenges that these immigrant families tend to find?
Well, affordable housing is one of them. A terrible critique about their unworthiness.
Mm-hmm. Like a
All
stigma.
you have to do is listen to Donald Trump, and you can hear that. And so it's a whole series of things like this. Easy access to affordable housing. It's, I mean, you live in New York City, it's pretty hard to find affordable
Affordable.
So, working with them around finding affordable housing, for example, then looking at young families like that, they have such a yearning that their own children have access to education and training and opportunity. So being able to provide those kinds of sources, and I think with Suzanne, who just died a year ago, she provided that love and support for those kids. Kids just loved her. So anyway, so it's a whole series of those kinds of opportunities. And one of the things I think about Marie Esther, for example, when they were, a large number of their congregations are in Haiti. Mm-hmm. Now, I went to Haiti a few times, and I know the situations there. And Marie St. Fleur, who has been a political arm and for Haiti. She's originally from Haiti, and her parents worked closely with us when they first became immigrants. And so, so then to see this program that the sisters are running and caring for women who are Haitians and helping to protect them from being held in harm, those are the kinds of things that really make the difference.
Making a humongous difference.
They do.
A huge impact.
They definitely do. And we're fortunate, I think, with the 5 congregations that are present in Marie Esther, many of them do similar kind of work. Mm-hmm. So it's encouraging to be able to be with them. And they are, I have this pin that I love, which just says rooted in justice. Mm-hmm. Because justice is a critical element of my life and has been for many, many years internationally and locally. And it is in their communities too. So they are very special women, and it's a gift to be able to share a home and a residence and to be able to learn together ways to be supportive to the Haitian women who are now in dire fear for their own lives. And so, anyway.
Now, Sister Margaret, looking forward, what is coming next for you and the Little Sisters of the Assumption, or maybe even just you personally?
Yeah, well, at this point in time, one of the blessings for us has been from the very beginning of our lives in all these different countries that I mentioned, that lay people have been engaged in mission with us. And they are committed to the same kind of mission. And we talk about it and we share about it and we pray together, etc. So I think one of the most important things for us is to begin to expand and develop even further the lay involvement with this mission so that it continues on. And I think when we look at the women at Marie Esther and we look at those 5 different congregations, I'm sure that's a real major concern for them too. And we had a wonderful experience with the Archdiocese where we had young people come to Marie Esther to talk about what are the kinds of things they want to do. And that to me that's really essential, is to find the ways to engage young Christian people in the work of the mission, which is at the heart of the mission of Jesus Christ.
I thought that experience where the Archdiocese had come to visit us was super unique as well. Particularly the younger people who came were so motivated and so interested in the subject, despite that they could be doing anything out there, and they choose to do that, and they choose to be on part of that evangelization team and kind of spread that message with purpose. And I agreed that was really a special day for us too.
Yeah, that's very well expressed and said. And it really reflects my own feelings about it when I saw those women. Thank God there are young Christian women who really share that kind of commitment And that's a source of hope for all of us.
Can you think of anything else that you feel like it's important to share about the Little Sisters of the Assumption or about Alliance Health at Marie Esther today?
I think Marie Esther is a very special place, and largely because of the people who are living there. And they care about one another. They reach out to the congregations that we're all engaged in. Their leadership come and visit us and get to know what our mission is here. And that's really a blessing to really share that kind of knowledge. And to there's a lot of really good work that one of the sisters does on justice. Like, because I was a little bit concerned when I came here, and I was thinking, I'm a justice freak. And
You're talking about another resident, right?
No, I'm talking about, I'm talking about another congregation.
Okay.
And the leadership of that congregation.
You weren't sure how you guys would mesh together.
I wasn't sure because, because of I've been involved in the justice agenda most of my life. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't sure what it was going to be like. And I found out that they equally had that same passion, and that Regina, who does all these spiritual reflections for us, identifies that. And when I express the fact that the Fourth World Movement, which I knew in Paris because my congregation was in Paris, and I spent a lot of time in Paris and met this group called the Fourth World Movement. And that's where people...
Not to interrupt you, but can you describe what the Fourth World Movement is?
Yeah, it's a movement that is where there's lay people who are really engaged in mission to deal with the whole reality of poverty.
Okay.
And so a good friend of mine, Donna Haig-Friedman, who was with the UMass Boston University, and I graduated from UMass Boston too, and Assumption College, and also Fordham University. So those are all institutions that have a passion for justice, and I have always had that passion for justice. And so it was shared here by most of those religious congregations. So they're really, that's a gift, so anyway, I hope that's helpful.
It absolutely is. And I agree with you. It is a gift. And I feel proud to know you and to know all the sisters of these different orders, something that I've never known about before.
Oh, that's good. That's very good. And then the people that the Archdiocese is nurturing, who share a similar kind of commitment. That's great.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Nunthing to Lose. We hope you enjoyed this peek into the lives of one of our sisters, and that you'll stay with us for more of these meaningful conversations as we showcase how our 5 orders make one pretty strong alliance.